It's FriYAY. I'm pretty excited to be here. Hope you are too. It is the beginning of the weekend. Oh yeah. There is nothing quite like a morning on TikTok. Even though it's closer to the noon, it's almost noon. It's a lot later than I wanted to go live. But I had stuff and things that needed to get done. There was a priority that took over my morning. That's okay. Things happen. We can roll with the punches. So many of us just have to roll with the punches every day. I am very excited to be here. I'm always excited to be here. I have fun doing this. I hope you have fun being here. Now, if you are interested in asking questions, I am here to help. That's right. I talk about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff because it's stuff that's genuinely interesting to me, and I want to help you. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a former police officer who talks about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. Let me put 45 on the clock because I got somewhere to go right after, and I do want to make sure we have time to chat about stuff and things, but I got to keep track of my time flow. That's what it is. If you want to know about speeding, underglow, lights, tint, stop signs, I don't know, whatever it is. If you've been charged with a ticket, you don't understand it, I'm your guy to help out, and that's what I do. Now, I am a former police officer. I do not offer counseling or ticket advice. I'm not generally someone who helps you get away with stuff. I'm someone who just tells you how it is. And although many people believe that I'm out to get you and I want to give you tickets and I want to see you fail, that's not the case. I want to inspire you to be a better driver. I want to inspire you to be safe, to think about others. What you choose to do when you get behind the wheel is really up to you. I'm just telling you what the law says. And what you do with that information is your call. It could be good, it could be bad. That doesn't change anything for me. I don't have a dog in the fight. Yeah, I do want the roads to be safer. I use the roads. So I guess I do have a dog in the fight in that I want everyone to get home safe and sound every day. But you know what I'm trying to say. Dustin Mayhew says, hey, Sean. Hey, Dustin, how you doing? If you're watching, and I know you are because you're seeing me, do me a favor. Hit that like button. You know, tell people that we're what you're watching and that it's worthy of watching, because that's how we have more people join the channel. And now I do have a goal. My goal is to have more people join Ask a Traffic Cop, the new channel I launched. It's got like 125 or something followers. When it hits 1,000, the live streams are going to move over there. My goal is to separate me, voiceover cop, from Ask a Traffic Cop. It really should be on its own. It should be a thing that police officers from across North America can come and contribute to and help, so it's more than just me answering questions about Ontario law. It's about police officers from all over the place getting an opportunity to have the ability to help their communities. Because there's people who are in Edmonton and Halifax, and they all want to know questions. They want to know the answers to their questions, and I want to help them get the answers. So if you know a cop who wants to join the show as a guest, let me know, because I would love to talk to them. Okay. Let's see. We got Jasmine, who says, hello from Northern Ontario. Do you have spikes on your tires in Northern Ontario? I know it's legal there, so I'm curious if you actually put studded tires on or not. Dharmik Patel wants to know, max tickets I can get for windshield tint. Oh, let me tell you, windshield tint isn't a max tickets situation. It's a pull your plates and get charged for unsafe motor vehicle and then get towed. And I would additionally charge you for $110 for obscuring the driver's view. I'm assuming you also have the windows left and right of the driver, so I mean another ticket for obscuring the interior of your motor vehicle. Max tickets, do we do the math on this? Like, we're talking 110 for the side windows, 110 for the windshield. We're talking about unsafe motor vehicle, which is no set fine. But is it $1,000 for I don't know what the maximum fine is, but anyway you cut it, it's not a good idea. And of course, you're paying the towing and all the other crap that goes with it, because it's not safe to be on the road. That's the deal. Hill Dill still joined, and then RT Code MS joined. RT Code MS says, I was at an intersection waiting to make a left turn, and the car behind me got impatient and made a left turn before me. Is there an offense for that vehicle making the turn? I'd say it's an unsafe turn. I mean, careless driving, maybe. Unsafe maneuver. I'd probably go careless. Why would they do that? They got impatient. It's not stunt driving. It would either be an improper turn, or unsafe move or careless driving. But definitely, listen, the answer is there's something to charge everybody for. It's just a matter of what makes the most sense. And I'd have to sort of see it. But I've got a visual idea of what you're talking about, but I don't know what I don't see that happening very often, but it is interesting. Thanks for the question. Thanks for the conversation. Liz, good morning. Bizarro Sonia, hey, I see you. Back to basics says, have you ever pulled over an off-duty police officer before? If so, what for? I pulled over somebody that appeared to be in a civilian car. It turns out they were undercover. They did have a badge. They were on their phone. It was an actual work thing. It wasn't just doing their own thing. So they were actively working on something, and they had a justified reason for doing it. So they got away with it. But they're technically, police are legally allowed to use their handheld communication device. And even though I thought I won, I was so disappointed because I couldn't write them the ticket in that situation. Yeah. Bizarro Sonia says, what does Park, former city of North York Highway 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. December 1st to 31st mean on a parking ticket? So Toronto Municipal Code is TMC. 950-400 is the section. And it's the bylaw that says you cannot park on a city of North York, which is now, so they've got Toronto amalgamated laws. They've got old laws and new laws, and they're all separate, but all still active. Let's see here. So you've parked between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. between December and March 31st on a road where it's prohibited. I'm assuming there's signs to go with that, but it's a parking ticket, and Toronto Municipal Code section or Chapter 950, Section 400. Does that help at all? It's just a bylaw ticket. I don't know if I went all over the place in that. Okay, let's go back to see what's being said here. I think I'm going to change the way I've laid this out. Hang on one second. Instagram, you're going in the far right. Far left, much easier to see. There we go. The way that I have to navigate. Tian says, good morning, everyone. Happy FriYAY. I haven't been using my sound effects very much. Manraj says, what do you think about adding a bike lane on roads like Bloor, which add up some hustle for delivery drivers? Example, UPS. Let me read that one more time. What do you think about adding a bike lane on roads like Bloor, which add up some hustle for delivery drivers, for example? Okay, I am not a fan of bike lanes. I mean, I like them in certain areas to give vulnerable road users a place to go. I don't think they should be on main streets like Bloor. I think that just creates all sorts of congestion and traffic. I don't think it's smart. Now, if there was a next street over that had less volume, well, then use that road as a bike lane road. There's no reason they need to be on the main road. And bike lane people don't generally like me because I say things like that. All right. Let's see here. Oh, lots of stuff coming in. We've got TikToker 61969 says, I have no license, but the LCBO closes in 5 minutes and it's a 10-minute walk. What do I do? I guess you're going to have a dry night because I don't know. You're asking if you can like steal a car, take an Uber. I don't know. Jasmine, who responded to my question if they have studded tires in their vehicle because they're allowed to have it in Northern Ontario. They said, good question. I know people who have studded tires up here. I'm guessing you don't though. Okay. Mike says yes for studded tires on. Okay. We've got, why does it keep doing that? It puts a message saying there's more messages and I can't read the messages covering up. Okay. Some of the highway is 110 kilometers an hour. If someone is doing 150, it's 40 over. Will they get charged with 50 over? Yes, because the way that the stunt driving law is written is it says 40 over if it is under 80 kilometers an hour, 50 over if it is over 80 kilometers an hour, or 150 anywhere. There's a third provision and it states 150 anywhere is against the law and stunt driving. So they would get stunt driving. And that means 40 over in that. Like no one should be going that fast, period. There's no reason to be coming. 140 you shouldn't be doing. It's against the law. Why people think it's okay to speed really bugs me. By the way, coolest mug in my pantry. Oh, makes coffee taste better. Okay. Let's have a look here. Bizarro Sonia wants to know if the vehicle has a disability permit, will those signed no parking areas still count. So here's the answer to that question. No parking signs do not affect accessibility permitted vehicles. So if you have a no parking zone, as long as it doesn't turn into a no stopping zone when it's not a no parking zone. So if parking is permitted until 6 a.m., then you've got it doesn't go into no stopping, it just remains no parking. That's legal for an accessibility permitted vehicle. If it was clearly displayed, they shouldn't have ticketed it. Now I haven't seen the sign. I'm just basing it on because you can park no park. So an accessible. Happy Friday! If you have a vehicle that has a no parking or has a parking pass, an accessibility parking pass, it can park in no parking zones, but it can't park in no stopping zones. That's what I'm trying to say. Hope that helps. Okay. Liz says, question, bought my very first black winter coat. I usually buy bright colors for safety's sake. Do you have any recommendations for being seen when it's dark out? I do actually. Very often walking with a flashlight, not pointed at drivers, but pointed down, or if you have one that glows. I have one that actually the housing of it glows, and it can illuminate both straight and down. It has multiple lights. You could have clip-on LEDs. There are backpack kind of straps you can put on that have, they're not very pretty, but they're very safe. It's almost like having a safety vest, but it's just a strap and a belt, and it has reflective capability. A lot of cyclists have a spray, and they'll spray down their coats, and it's wild because it's not visible to the naked eye until light hits it, and then it lights up like crazy. Not very pretty, but it really, really works. Check it out online. Okay, Bizarro says, what if the vehicle has yeah, we talked about that. Okay. I got you that one. Okay, going back to YouTube. Brandon says, good morning, Sean, and everyone. Let's all have a safe day. A fantastic safe day. How is cooking for the volunteers in LA going? Brandon messaged yesterday or Wednesday that he was out serving the people who are helping others in Los Angeles. A very good thing to be doing. The terrible stuff going on down there. And mind you, I think a lot of the fires have calmed down, but still, shout out to Los Angeles. My brother's out there. Okay. Doug Maui says, why does the yield sign in TTC buses don't get respected, especially by new drivers? And can a person get a ticket for that? Well, absolutely. There's a bylaw that says you must yield to buses that are re-entering the roadway from a bus bay. And why doesn't it get respected? Well, we have terrible drivers. That's really why. And people are all in a rush, the entitled folks. That many people don't understand anything. They probably shouldn't be driving. But the reason that they get away with it is there's simply not enough police officers to pull everybody over. That is it. What is this? Oh, follow up on the bicycle conversation earlier. We got Manraj who says, I'm not against bike lanes. It says, I guess you're doing text or speech to text, bike lanes, but it should only be on one side. Blocking both sides for essential services like mail deliveries is crazy. Even it impacts emergency services vehicles. That's why the Premier of Ontario wants to get rid of them. They want to get rid of them. All right, back to TikTok. Okay. What we got here? Corey, thanks for the follow. And Rick Sabula says, can a vehicle parked on the street be concealed with a full car cover? Can a vehicle parked on the street? So if you're parking on the street, it has to be plated. It has to have valid plates. And it has to be we have to be able to get to the VIN number. The VIN is VIN number. VIN number means VIN number because the N in VIN means number. And I try not to repeat myself. So I'm saying it out loud to remind myself. Stop it. All right. Yeah, the deal is that you could cover it, but know that police and parking will lift the cover to check it. So you're not. It's not against the law to put a cover on it. It's just that the vehicle under the cover will be checked, and it has to be plated and valid, and they'll check the VIN to make sure it's not stolen. Okay. Takalam says, there should be a website where we can report number plates with covers. They are taking advantage of 407. There is, so 407, OPP may not have I think they must have a website that does this. But Toronto certainly takes reports online. There may not be charges laid, but they would get a letter in the mail after an investigator looks at the report. I assume the OPP does the same thing. And you're right. And the truth is, we should learn by now that those covered plates are unlawful, and the OPP does enforce them, especially on the 407, because there's a specific charge about trying to avoid toll systems. Yeah. Avandro says, good afternoon. Your Brazilian fan watching again. What's going on, brother? Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. We are going to be together for a recruiting event that I was invited to. So I'm looking forward to that. I posted it on my Instagram at VoiceOver Cop. Of course, you can also get it on Avandro. Avandro, if you want to send a link, post a link in the comments and I will put it on screen. And he has a question as well. How is the penalty for drivers drive on opposite way of the road? Driving the wrong way? So oddly enough, driving the wrong way on a one-way is an offense. It's probably $110. I'm not positive. I'm not going to look it up right now. But the deal is driving against the flow of traffic on a multi-lane road isn't specifically illegal. Obviously, if you're causing problems or running into cars or causing other cars to be put into a dangerous position, it is illegal, but simply being on the wrong side of the road isn't. Many people go, what? But yeah, there's no charge for it, unless it's a one-way road. All right. Is it okay to have, I clicked it like it was going to show up on my screen, but I can't. Jordan has a question, wants to know if it's okay to have my license plate on my dash. The answer is no. License plates in Ontario have to be put on your vehicle, attached, based on regulations. The regulations state it must be on the front of the vehicle. Your front windshield is not the front of the vehicle. It is forward facing, about 40% towards the middle of your vehicle. So no, you can't put it there. It has to be on the front bumper, front fender, front grille, front, facing forward front. For most. And if you don't want to put it where it's supposed to be, put it on a license plate bracket that goes into the tow hook adapter. That would be acceptable, but not on the window. Now, there's another thing to think about aside from the legality of regulation. There's the what if you get into a collision and that license plate becomes, well, the Ontario Shuriken, which is a Shuriken's the Ninja Star from yesteryear. Yeah, it becomes a very sharp piece of aluminum that could become lodged in your forehead. Not a good place to put it. So safety, and it's not legal. Brown Doritos wants to know what you think about lane splitting. There was something else there that I didn't read. Let me scroll back. Oh, where'd it go? Here we go. And can reduce crashes. Oh, it's legal in some countries and can reduce crashes. So it's not legal here. It's not legal anywhere in Canada. It is legal in 5 U.S. states, but that's it. Europe may allow it. I don't know. But the deal is that you could reduce the chance of being rear-ended if you were to move a couple of car lengths up in stop-and-go traffic. I totally accept that. You don't want to be the rear bumper protecting the car in front of you from a person who's totally out to lunch. And I'm a rider. I totally get it. That said, riding through traffic is not safer, and you increase your odds of becoming involved by hitting another vehicle by going forward through stop traffic or slow-moving traffic. It's not safe. It's not legal. Expect to be charged by careless driving or with careless driving. Stunt driving in some cases, if you're driving quickly, if you're driving really quickly and dangerously weaving through traffic that is traveling slower, expect dangerous criminal driving charges. Bad idea. Yeah, and if you look at California, it's probably the best example of where it's legal. Now, even the CHP, the California Highway Patrol, puts on their website saying, yeah, it's legal, but it's dangerous. They suggest a maximum speed differential, like not going more than 10 or 15 kilometers over the traffic speed. And that's good advice. If it were legal here, I would say the same thing. It's not legal here. Don't do it. JC wants to know, is a ban on TikTok against freedom of expression? I think a ban on TikTok is specifically catering to Google, which is YouTube, and Meta, which is Instagram and Facebook, because they're losing tons of money to TikTok in ad revenue. I think that's why they are, apparently they paid a firm to create a disinformation campaign and label TikTok bad, and everyone ate it up. I don't think it's real. I mean, I know people in security, software security industry who say it's full of crap. It's like every other app. So what's the issue? The issue is that China might see information like who you are, where you are, and how many times you poop. Come on. Every app knows that. You download Solitaire for free. You're watching ads. It's scraping the same information. It's not some horrible app. It's no different than any other app that you're getting for free. It's just, that's the reality. Look at everyone going to Red Note. Red Note, which, by the way, was a pain in the ass to get onto, and it's all in Chinese. And yet this is supposed to be where TikTok refugees go. It's ludicrous. It's actually owned by the Chinese government, as opposed to the Chinese government having a small interest in it. Why that's allowed, I don't understand. If one's not allowed, then none should be allowed, right? It's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs crazy. Thank God it's Friday. That's the original ML making a statement. Thank you for coming on in. Just going back to Evandro. The Arena, 10 a.m. till 2 p.m., 6 Security Avenue, Unit I in Toronto. Tomorrow is a recruiting event, and Peel Regional Police and Sentinel Security are going to be there. I'm going to be there. I'm not recruiting anybody, but I'm happy to chat with people if they decide to come. And what's the story? The story is that this is a great place to go if you want more information about policing. And they will have Spanish-speaking and Portuguese-speaking people there to assist you if that is the language you prefer to speak in, because there's many people who would make great police officers that are still working on their language skills, are working on English, but they have multiple language skills but happen to be more familiar in their native language as opposed to English, and they want to work towards the goal of becoming a police officer. So they will be Spanish and Portuguese speakers there to help you along the way. I think it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. Also, I'm looking forward to seeing my friends at Sentinel Security and, of course, my friends at Peel. Okay, Evandro has a question. Should motorcyclists ride with their helmet visors closed? In Brazil, it's mandatory. No kidding. I've never, ever heard of that. I just took my kids to go to K1 Speed, which is an indoor electric raceway at where is it? Downsview Military Base or Downsview Park. And it's awesome. And it's visors closed. Now, I understand the reasoning behind visors closed to protect your eyes, because if something blows into your eyes and you're blinded, it's going to cause a collision. It's not mandatory here. Like, you can wear a half helmet with no visor and no sunglasses here. You can just go and dry your eyes out if you want to. So there's no legal requirement in Ontario, but I think it's a really interesting thing that Brazil's that far ahead, that they're thinking about this kind of stuff. I like it. I like it a lot. Let's see here. Liz has a question. As a TikTok user, what are your thoughts on what's going on with TikTok in the USA? I wonder how this will eventually affect non-American users. Well, first of all, I've been following it at a distance. I understand that Trump might stay it or save it or throw the law out or the ban out. The Supreme Court came up with something this morning. I haven't read it yet. I saw a headline my wife sent to me saying that they could enforce it, but they're not, and that Biden's not going to enforce it on his last day. I really hope they don't do anything stupid. TikTok is the best platform by far. I use all of them. TikTok I actually enjoy using. And it's where everybody is. It's the number one platform in the world for video, more than YouTube. Granted, long form YouTube or long form video is better on YouTube. I hate to say it. I use YouTube for learning. It's got great searchability. I learned so much. I just built an iOS app, which I forgot to launch before the show started. But I'm testing it. See, and I did it using stuff I learned on YouTube. It's amazing. Anyway, what I would like to talk about is the fact that in Canada, the Canadian offices of TikTok have been ordered to close. 200 Canadians, or people who live in Canada, are going to lose their jobs. That's not cool. But the app's not going to be banned, don't worry. Yeah, for how long? Government's trying to shut down our ability to communicate really bugs me. And using the guise of, it's scary spy stuff where it's going to rot your brain is baloney, because all social media unmanaged with people who have bad habits and can't put stuff down will be bad. It will consume your life. But that doesn't change. You know, when every other app has basically copied TikTok with vertical video, short form stuff, because they're good and they see the benefit and can't compete any other way, they copy them. Like, what's going to happen? Nothing's going to change. It's just not going to be, just frustrates the crap out of me. It's bull crap is what it is. The Arena West Side says, hi, how are you doing? We are so excited to see you tomorrow. I'm excited to see you guys too. That's the host platform they're watching on Instagram too. The host of the event at the Arena, which I can't put on screen. But if you're on YouTube, I can put your comments on screen. What's the website? The Arena? I don't know. If you tell me what the website is, I'll put it up on screen. Right. 21 minutes. You got 21 more minutes. Okay. Is there any way to get my license back if I lost it for no insurance in case it's required for job? So you lost your license and you want it back because you got to work. These are things you should have thought about before you got caught for no insurance. Uh, could you appeal to the courts? Maybe. They don't generally give you back stuff when you've lost it for a good reason, because you would have made that appeal when you lost it, saying, I screwed up. I'm really sorry, but I need it for work. So that would have been the time to ask for it, not after you've had you've already lost it. Could you appeal? Yeah, hire a lawyer, go through the basis. You might be able to do it. TheArenaToronto.com. Can I copy and paste this? Second. I can. Oh, but I don't have to, because my friend Evandro already put it on screen. But so did my friends over here at the Arena. Check it out. Dre Studios. Hey, how you doing? We have to get together soon, Dre. We keep talking about it. Dre is involved with Tooth, auto sports, Tooth. I originally called it Twath. It's not Twath, it's Tooth. My friends out there, and we've met at a number of indies, Honda indies. In fact, we see each other every year for the last couple of years. This year, I'm not going to be at the Honda Indy unless I call the Honda Indy. Do I need a booth at the Honda Indy? I don't know. That's a lot of sun. Do I need that much sun? Maybe I'll just visit. Anyway, yeah, Dre and I have to connect. In fact, Dre, I was just talking about K1 Speed and talking to the people, although it's new management. The people I had already spoken to aren't there anymore. I really want to get that event going with the professional racers racing against police and me. It's an excuse to go go-karting, I know. Okay. Do vehicles have to have plates and permits exposed on street? They have to have plates exposed. We have to be able to see the plates. Carl Freeman, but we would check to see if they're there, if they're covered or obstructed, but technically they need to be seen. Carl Freeman says, good morning, Sean. Good morning, Carl. Rick says, a neighbor has a full car cover protector concealing plates parked on the street. It just means that people are going to touch it. Let's see here. Hey, if you're watching, you don't know who I am. My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a former police officer who talks about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. And I do that because I want to help you all understand stuff and things so you don't get in trouble for stuff and things when it could have been avoided. Now, granted, I can give you the great information. You might not choose to follow it, but that's up to you. I'm doing my part to make sure you know stuff. Okay. What we got? Dylan, tell me 5 cops that actually went to college, LOL. Dylan's your favorite is the username, and Dylan is a dumbass. Why do I tell you that? Because I know medical doctors, they have PhDs, and they became police officers. Many, many, many police officers have doctorates. They have bachelors, because that's like high school now. So when some dope gets on here and says, tell me actually people who go to college. No, it means you don't know what the hell you're talking about, buddy. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Now, grade 12 is the minimum, but nowadays almost everybody has a degree. Yeah, happy days. Go have the day you deserve. Why does the yield sign in TTC buses, we talked about that. Oh my God, I was thinking of you last night, Sean. What do you do if you hit a deer at night? That's Wolfstoy. That's a great question. And I've spoken to people who have hit moose. Like one guy I met rode a Harley Davidson he was way out in the mountains. He drove through a moose and gutted it. Like he broke every bone in his body. He went through. Anyway, what do you do? Hitting a moose, or a deer, if it doesn't damage your vehicle, or if it doesn't result in you being unable to drive away, many people take that deer and take it home and cook it up. But that depends on whether you like deer or not, and how messed up. Like if you got does bumper actually damage the anyway? Is it a collision that needs to be reported? No, actually, if the damage is over $5,000, it's a collision that needs to be reported. But if it's under $5,000, it doesn't. In Ontario. Let's see here. Rick Sabula at Jordan. What's the side conversation here? I'm trying to figure out. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, I see. Jordan says you can't park it on the road with a full cover. Again, we'll look at the plate. It just lift it. If there's no plate on it, then it's going to get that's going to be a problem. Then it gets towed. Reg Schofield. says, why are all police departments in Ontario are completely corrupt? Again, a dopey question because they're not. Police are not corrupt. Police officers on occasion are found to be corrupt. A few what's it called? Slip through the cracks. It happens. They get found eventually and they get charged and they are no longer police officers. But police agencies are not corrupt. At least not ones that I've ever dealt with. And I've dealt with a lot of them. But I love the police bias. I love people who come in here and watch a lot of movies and have a lot of opinions and probably vote for a party that won't have status for very long. But anyway, the deal is that police are a good thing. They keep the bad people away. They try and do their best to put people in jail, but the government tends to mess with that. Let's see here. Dre Studio says, go apologize to the moose. Let's see here. Ooh. Dre started a new job as doing CPR training. Very good. It's the most exciting thing you'll do, but it is the best thing. Shout out to Bush Outdoors Canada. If you're looking for a watch, check out Marathon, but check it out from my friend at Bush Outdoors Canada. He's on Instagram. He sells them, and they are beautiful, beautiful watches. I still have to add one to my collection. I like watches. All right. Let's see here. Uncle says, did you speak to the guy in Sudbury who got let off going 200 kilometers an hour? Did I speak to him? Did you speak? Oh, did you speak on? I mean, speak about. I spoke about it a couple days ago. Not that I knew any answers. I don't know why someone who was doing 200 kilometers an hour didn't get thrown in handcuffs and thrown in jail. But I don't know. I know not what happened there, because apparently they were speeding. They got caught, but then they were seen driving a few days later in the same car. It should have been impounded for stunt driving. They should have lost their license. Okay. Can we apply for a restricted license if needed for a job while suspended? Can I apply for a restricted license if needed for my job while suspended? Are we talking about restricted firearms license? What kind of license are we talking about? Talk to me, Goose. I want to know more. I don't understand what Pickled on Paul wants to know. Oh, Free Oleg says, not all police departments in Ontario are corrupt, but Thunder Bay is. I got no experience with that. I can't speak to them. I can't imagine an entire police service being corrupt as opposed to a few bad guys. And nobody hates a bad cop more than a good cop. Rick, okay. Do you renew your G2 when it's up or get your full G? So if you're just like a few days out, they can extend it to allow you to get your G test done, and then you renew and get your G. If you have to renew your G2, you have to do your G2 test again, or you lose it. It's not one where you can just pay and renew. You have to do your test again in order to get your G2 for another 5 years. Your best bet is get your actual G test done, your G2 exit. Liz likes the sorry to Mr. Moose comment from Dre. Okay. 12 and a half minutes. Nicholas Rizzi, who sends me DMs all the time with crazy, wonderful questions. Thank you, Nicholas, for sharing in the live. His question is, you have a box and it had, what is this? You have a box and it had all the objects you lost in your life. What would be the first thing you would look for? My sanity. No, I don't know. I don't know what kind of things I've lost that I don't. So here's an example of why this question is so hard for me to answer. I went to my dad's house. Excuse me. I went to my dad's house, was going through some stuff, and I'm seeing stuff I haven't seen in 20 years. That if I didn't know, if I didn't see it, I wouldn't have remembered that it existed. I went to a box and I found it was Garbage Pail Kids. I posted it on Instagram yesterday. I found a box of brand new sealed Garbage Pail Kids posters. I don't know. They must be my brother's. I have no idea. I don't remember anything about them. Anyway. And then my father's like, do you want to keep this or sell it? I'm like, I didn't even know it existed. If I don't know it exists, I don't need it. And that probably includes anything that I've, lost. Interesting question. I'll have to ponder. Oh, so Freelag following up on this allegations against Thunder Bay Police. He says, at least when the last two police chiefs were charged and resigned, you'd think it's corrupt. Yeah, that's suggestive. That's what the case is. Now I want to read up about this, but I don't have any information to really make comment on. But it sounds like you do, and it sounds pretty bad. Let's see here. What's the penalty for driving with a 0.1 BAC as a 19-year-old driver? Well, if you have more than 0, which is the requirement as a 19-year-old driver, you would get a ticket for being over 0. You'd be failing the condition and you get charged $110, I think. I don't think you get to drive. I think you're not driving home. I've never actually laid that charge. I've never found somebody who wasn't just totally smashed. Yeah. Red Schofield says, if this isn't true, tell your VP to come charge me. OPP. I don't know what you're talking about, Reg. What is Reg talking about? Was he? Oh, because he's saying everyone's corrupt. Reg, go away. I don't know what you're talking about. You're making allegations, but you're just talking crap. King wants to know if I got tased at OPC. No, I asked to be tased at OPC, and apparently they don't do it anymore. That is the thing. I actually wanted to take the 5-second ride, and they weren't doing it for anybody. Reg is all deep into some stuff. I don't know. Reg, I don't know what you're talking about, buddy. Okay. Wolfstoy says, is talking to Greg Marshall. Greg Marshall says, oh, interesting. Okay. Greg brings a different element that I wasn't aware of. So Greg says you likely have a lot of damage to your car and they have to inform the Ministry of Natural Resources. I was not aware of that. I've never hit a deer, and we do have some on the Don Valley Parkway in Toronto. I've really never had an issue with that. And most people just take them home and eat them. But interesting, Greg. We'll have to have a sidebar and chat. I didn't know that. Now I got to research. Hold on. Pickleface says something about Mandarin. A lot of us are learning Mandarin from Red Note. You're learning Red. No kidding. Okay. Hold on, coming back. Do I have a record? Is it legal to go 120 in the fast lane? No, it's not. Doing the speed limit is legal. Everything above the speed limit is not legal. The cops arrested me, but they let me go. For what? Greg says, call police when you hit a deer at night. I think that's good advice anyway. Because very rarely would you ever get into a collision with a deer and be able to be safe to drive away. Yeah. Things that people who live in areas outside of Toronto know about, but I don't. Romy says, Sean, hello. Hello, Romy. How you doing? Okay. Reg is going off about justice in Ontario. All right. Thank you for your input. What is this? Quick question. If I'm following a car and it suddenly stops and I hit him, is it my fault? If a car that you are following is stops suddenly and you hit them, it means you were following too close. So yes, you would still be charged at fault. Now, if the vehicle that you're following slams on the brakes, simply like changes lanes in front of you, it gives you no room to move and hits the brakes, that's called a brake test or a dumb driver, and they can be held responsible for that. However, what you need to take into consideration is that you need evidence of that. You can't just say, they did it, they cut me off and hit the brakes. You need a camera. You need a dash cam. Get a dash cam. All right. Dre Studio says, I like the Reno 911 Police Department, best department in the world. And Dre thinks I could rock the shorts with cowboy boots. No, it's actually one show that I couldn't get into. I just found it very silly. It was too silly for me. I've seen clips that I've enjoyed, but I can't watch it. Like I watch serious police shows. Who is watching? Is it called The Call on Amazon right now? I think it's Amazon. Hang on a second. TV show. I think it's called The Call. No. Is it? No. Police show Amazon. Let's see if it brings. I can't even think of what it's called. Amazon Prime. No. Police show Amazon Prime. Is it? What am I watching it on? Does anyone? Oh, here it is. Screen Rant is talking about. It's called. What's the freaking title? Are you kidding me? How pathetic is this article? On Call. On Call. I call it The Call, On Call. So I'm watching it. I have issues with it. Has anyone seen the On Call on Amazon Prime? shout it if you like. Let me know if you did. I'm very curious to know if you've seen it, because I'm almost finished the season. I got one episode to go tonight, so don't ruin it for me if if you've watched it. But the deal is, I don't find it very realistic. I get it. A very interesting casting as well. The people they've chosen to be police officers are interestingly cast. It's just they're rookie. He's had 10 seconds on the job and he's doing stuff, and there's nobody's writing reports. They're like, yeah, can you guys take care of this? We're gonna go to the next call. There's some major issues with the scripting from the perspective of a police officer watching a TV show, and I'm like OCD about stuff. It drives me bananas. My wife can't stand watching police dramas with me because I'm like, that wouldn't happen. I don't care what police force it was. That wouldn't happen. Anyway, or they have a shoot and like, okay, you guys bag up the body. We're going to another call. No. They come, they take your gun. You go into therapy almost immediately. You're being investigated by no, they don't just go and like come back tomorrow and say, so what do you think about the shoot? Anyway, I've still enjoyed it, because when I watch dramas or cinema, I have to go on the ride. I have to, let go of reality and go on that ride temporarily. But at the end, I go like, yeah, that was crap. I actually wrote the rookie. I actually wrote into the show and said, stop using a GoPro as a dash camera. It's stupid. Anyway, that's just me ranting. Jay wants to know if I've watched Landman. I've watched like 45% of the first episode and haven't had time to watch more. I've heard it's pretty good. I do like Tyler Sheridan and stuff. Bush Outdoors Canada says, if you're a hunter, you would normally get tags without the paperwork, and if you were caught, you'd be in trouble. The Ministry of Natural Resources has to deem that the deer is dead. Really? Like, okay. Even if you hit it with a car because it didn't look both ways before it crossed the street. Interesting. I'm learning stuff here. Liz says, I was recently behind a driver who must have had their dog in their lap as the dog's head was hanging out the driver's side window. What's the potential charges for that? Drive while crowded or careless driving, either would do for me. That's what I would lay. Okay. Oh, and following up reporting, apparently you can call the 8800 number for OPP, or Star OPP works. Do you agree that e-bikes should have mandatory insurance and registration? I think they should be regulated. Even if it's a minor thing, you should be confirmed capable of riding, and we should be able to do safety and compliance checks for. We can do it, but it should be done before registration to get a plate, because there are so many illegal e-bikes that go way more than 32 kilometers an hour. And I'm a bit of a stickler about these rules. Okay. In your rookie years of being a cop, when was the welcome to being a cop moment? I'm a weirdo in that I was with the job for like 12 years before I became an actual police officer. I was an auxiliary officer, and I went out on the road and did all sorts of stuff as a uniformed civilian volunteer. And then I became a court officer shortly thereafter, and I was, again, exposed to all sorts of stuff. So I never really, I kind of didn't have those moments. I was in it well before I wore a badge in my wallet. What social media have to do with traffic? What do you mean? What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about. Do e-bikes? We talked about that. Supreme Court upholds TikTok ban. Yes. I don't think it's going to last till tomorrow. Tomorrow is the inauguration tomorrow, isn't it? Is it not tomorrow? Is it Monday? When is the presidential inauguration of Trump? Anyway, I think he's going to say it. Baloney. They shouldn't be banned. Crap. King says, did you get? We talked about this. Okay. Tig Devil Diesel. Hey, how you doing, man? He says, hey, Sean, how's it going? And right back at you. I hope you're doing well. Tig Devil Diesel, if you don't already watch his channel, he does amazing things with a TIG welder. Waddell Engineering, seen some fresh transport truck tires in the ditch this morning. That should be reported to OPP, or should it be reported to OPP? I've been seeing a lot of vehicles. I watched near where I live. There was two heavy tows trying to get a truck out. The first heavy tow needed to be towed out because it looks like it slid in when it tried to tow the first vehicle. So it was a cluster. Just tire markings, I wouldn't bother. Would a mandatory 60 km/h in bad weather help? These collisions in the 401 are getting insane. So in bad weather, should you be unable to go faster than 60? Interesting concept. I mean, truly, if I saw horrible weather and you were doing 60 just because the speed limit says 100, I would probably pull you over and charge you for careless driving because you're going faster than the road conditions would allow. Who is your Mario Kart driver and why is it Bowser? I played Mario Kart. My children usually pick the characters for me. Don't know who they are. Okay. Liz wants to know if I ever watched the Canadian cop show Flashpoint. I did. I loved it at the time. It was based on a bunch of stories that actually happened in Toronto. I thought they did a pretty good job. Not realistic, but it was fun. Canadian TV, it really doesn't do anything very well, I hate to say. The acting is okay, but I did appreciate it at the time. You know what show I really loved, and it was while that was on, everyone loved it. Third Watch. Third Watch was amazing, and then they never released it on DVD because they couldn't get the music licenses. And then when they did, they changed all the music, and the awesome soundtracks were gone because they couldn't get licensing. Apparently, Liz says it's going to be on the 20th. Let's see here. P.S. Tell Leo wife what serious cop shoes are awesome. Okay. I'm not sure what I'm telling her. So, well, you guys have a dialogue. You should message her, but or message me and I'll convey it. But I don't know what you're talking. You threw me for a loop with the serious cop. Oh, hey, I just got a reminder that I just looked down for the first time in a bit and said, hey, it says that I should go because I've been speaking for too long. 46 minutes. That probably happened a minute ago. If an officer is off duty and something happens at the mall, does that cop have to interfere? Police officers are police officers 24/7. They have an obligation under law to get involved in some way. But if I'm unarmed, if I'm with my family, no, I'm not going to go jump into the mix. I'm going to call 911 and I'm going to be the best witness I can be. And I'm going to possibly quietly do what I can do to identify the said bad persons. But it depends on the situation. I've gotten involved in the past. I would still get involved now. Just saying. How much over the speed limit do speed cameras take pictures and fine you? They've never really told us, but the deal is that you shouldn't be speeding, and it's probably going to be 8 to 10% over, but that's a guesstimate. Can a car have blue brake lights? No, it cannot. Blue is not a legal color for rear-facing lights. Actually, you can't have it front-facing either. You can't have blue lights. Rear can only be amber or red. And so when people drill out the center and put a blue dot, that is illegal. What should I do after passing my writing test? Writing test for what? Okay. Yes, thank you to Greg. Yes. Oh, I got to check out what Rob's just sent me. If I'm doing 100 kilometers in a posted 100-kilometer zone of on a 3-lane highway, do I have to move to the right lane? That's Sweet Chili Heat says, if I'm doing 100K in a 100K zone, do I have to stay to the right? You should stay to the right. Do you have to stay to the right? Chances are everybody else is going faster, and a stupid law that is obviously misunderstood says that slower traffic should move right. It was never intended to move right and give way to speeders, but it is being interpreted that way, and I get why, because speeders are making the roads unsafe, and if you are not getting out of the way of a speeder, they are going to pass you on the right, and that's making it unsafe for everybody else. So in the interests of safety for all, stay to the right and don't speed. So you should probably never go in the speed lane. Just saying. And yes, you're right. I do say there's no excuse for exceeding the posted limit because it's not legal. You can't speed. Police can speed, fire can speed, ambulance can speed. That's it. What's this? Tig Devil says, I saw a car with neon yellow running from headlights and brake lights are blue. So no. Yellow to the front's legal. Blue to the back is not. Please share your thoughts about the 407 and its place in Ontario. Sean, I don't have any thoughts on it. It's a toll highway. I don't think that we should have sold it. but that's it. How can I prove a cop is giving me a ticket just to potential ruin my pardon application? And then committed further says tickets for 5 kilometers an hour, no lie. I go to court June for it. Well, if you're getting tickets for 5K over, it means you're probably going 5K over, which is illegal. So don't go 5K over. Follow the rules. And especially if you're trying to get a pardon, you should really be following the rules. You more than anybody, because you've got a reason not to get screwed. So don't give people a reason to screw you. Follow the freaking law. Okay. How fast can you guys go, and are cruisers immune to banana peels? I don't know how fast we can go, but because you go as fast, you're not paying attention to the speedometer when you're a police officer because you don't have to. You're talking about simply trying to figure out how to be safe. Okay. Rick Sabula says, I remember the old yellow Dodge Diplomats back in the day. I've driven those. I've had them at the car show. I've driven them to events. They're awesome. No air conditioning, though, which sucks. Jake says, Taser was better than the spray. I believe it. I've been sprayed a lovely number of times. Rick wants to know what's with the leaving your car keys in the mailbox deal, just encouraging for thieves. First of all, no one's ever said leave your car keys in the mailbox. No one has ever said that. They said leave your car keys at the front of the house, inside, not outside. And the real deal is that if the bad guys are willing to kick in your door and come get you, better to leave the keys, which they're actually there for, at the front, so they don't have to wake you up with a gun pointed at your forehead, demanding the keys. Let them just take the keys that are left out in an easy to find place because they've already broken into your house. Yeah, and the truth is, people, you've probably seen video. They're having bloody gunfights in houses, or I shouldn't say gunfights because it's pretty much a one-way thing. People are getting shot at. Okay. Can I put an intake on your car? Yeah, if it doesn't interfere with your ability to maintain all of the stuff and things you have to maintain for exhaust and whatnot. How do we know if the speed camera got me or another Tesla going roughly the same speed? Haven't got the mail. If you haven't got it in the mail, you're probably not getting it. Dustin says, let's do another 45 minutes. I missed the live. Unfortunately, we'll have to wait till Monday. Rick says there should be a Canadian version of Cops in Brampton. Just in Brampton? There used to be a Canadian. It wasn't very good, but it was a Canadian show like Cops. We just have different laws. And I mean by different laws, we have different things we need to evidentiary. Like you can't release stuff because it would screw up the case. Question was, be honest, did the Toronto Police Force discipline you for wearing your yarmulke and police uniform? No, because it's part of the uniform standards. In fact, I never wore one until they made it part of the uniform standards. They actually wrote it in, and that was a Toronto Police in crest emblazoned on it. It was an actual Toronto Police yarmulke. So no, I'm getting into trouble for something you're allowed to wear. What is this? Big Block 468 says, what's your honest opinion on corrupt police officers? You're allowed to say it now that you're retired. I've never met corrupt police officers. Those that were corrupt got charged and fired or arrested. Nobody hates a corrupt cop more than a good cop. And obviously, I don't like corrupt cops, but I don't see that. I didn't see that. The vast majority of police are the good guys fighting to keep Canadians safe. It's a good thing. Let's see here. A lot of the tickets, someone was saying they got a ticket during COVID and they asked for early resolution, never heard back. They probably dropped it, but you should follow up. All right. I am up to date. Liz says, ticketed for 5 kilometers over, must be speeding in a school zone or something. That would be the only place that I would lay a charge for 5 over in front of a school. The school, yeah. Yes, thank you, Michael. I should have given you a heads up that I was going live, Michael. My apologies. Michael helps me out as a moderator, and I appreciate you. I jumped on like last minute to go live because I didn't want to miss out on the opportunity. But I do have to go. It's 20:01 and I got places to be. Oh, Kayla just jumped in. Greetings and salutations. not at my computer, not in a position to copy in jokes right now. That's too bad. I was just going to say, have you got time for dad jokes? Thought it was an inauguration was the 20th or the 21st. And Liz said Monday. I think you said Monday. Did you say Monday? Manaj, have you ever planned visiting Punjab? Do you mean the restaurant we talked about? Because you sent me the restaurant, right? Or are you talking about something else? Are you talking about a place, a country? Radek says, "Hey, Radek, how you doing? Is it necessary to continue to go to the gym after being hired, or will you be constable? Will you be or will being a constable, I gotta read this bigger. Is it necessary to continue to go to the gym after being hired, or will being a constable active enough to keep the individual in shape? You should keep up. I had a gym in the station. I tried to get in there as much as possible. The truth is that the lifestyle is one that you have to choose to be physically active and fit, because very often sitting in a car is you're not getting exercise. You're going call to call to call. It's not active enough. You're not jogging after bad guys every day. Yeah, you should absolutely make an active decision to be fit. One that I didn't make. I should have been more active. I regret. Anyway, let's see here. Big Block says, you hear so many police officers getting arrested for impaired. What happens? Do interlocks go in cars? If they're convicted, they get convicted. Everything is the same. They don't get to drive the police cars, though. They would be on bicycle patrol. They won't be able to. They get taken right out of the cars. If there's someone who gets an impaired and they're suspended, that's no interlock bypass. There's no interlock going in. They're not driving the police car. All right, I got to go. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Stay safe, drive sober, don't do drugs. I don't know. You know what I'm saying. Have fun. Be safe.